Ito, we have two statements here, okay? The first part of the statement says that when we make decisions, we rely on our beliefs. So this makes sense because our beliefs guide our actions and decisions. For example, if you believe that hard work leads to success, you're likely to put in extra effort at your job because really you think it will pay off. In this way, beliefs are like a blueprint or behavior, diba? Now, the statement goes on to explain that this reliance on beliefs can make us uncritical of them in two ways. The first reason is that we don't like to find out that our beliefs were wrong because it forces us to admit that we've made mistakes. Let's say you've always believed that a certain diet is healthy. If new information comes out showing that it's actually harmful, accepting this means you have to acknowledge that you might have harmed your health by following it. So this can be tough pill to swallow. So people can often resist changing their beliefs to avoid feeling guilty or ashamed about their past actions. Okay? Additionally, class, if our current beliefs seems to work fine, we might see changing them as futile. Why fix what isn't broken? If your routine or belief system has been working well enough, you might not see the point in changing it, even if there's evidence that something else could be better. In short, class, this statement is pointing out that our reliance on beliefs can sometimes make us less willing to critically examine them. We don't like to admit that we were wrong, and we often resist the effort involved in making changes, especially if what we're doing seems to be working just fine. This can lead to sticking with beliefs that might not actually be the best for us, simply because it's easier and it's more comfortable to do so. Diba? So, again, a sad reality. Okay, now on being right and wrong. When you try to break down that, diba, leaders are pig-headed, diba? Diba, uh, in essence, these statements highlights how tightly we hold onto our beliefs because they are intertwined with our identity and social standings. Yung for leaders, this can be especially challenging as admitting wrong beliefs or conclusions might not only affect their self-image but also their public image and authority. It's a reminder of the importance of humility and the courage it takes to reevaluate and change our beliefs when necessary. Okay? So yan po yung critical thinking and evolution. As you can see, there are many obstacles to critical thinking and some of those have a straightforward evolutionary explanation. So yung habit and sense, where there is a strength in numbers, diniscuss na natin yan kanina, yan, ang herd instinct, yung partisan mind. It's evolution class from herd instinct to partisan mind up until to leadership. That's it. So bakit yung critical thinking isn't much like many of the reasons for why it is hard to be critical. Because being critical, we often associate it with negativity. No? Unsa man siya, like for example, in Bisaya, gabi man unsa ni siya kanang, di ba, if sa barkada, no? If you question about some of the negative traits sa barkada mo, sasabihin nila na KJ ka, na killjoy mga killjoy, dili makakabalo makisabay, no? It's just being critical. You question them on the wrongness of their actions, the correctness of their actions, inaan lamang kag wala kay lamit nga kauban, di ba? Because being questioning something, we often associate it being negative. Okay? We simply hate to be critical of our own beliefs, and we also hate others to be critical of the beliefs we have. Diba? That's it. And again, this are the things that we have discussed about earlier. We about the stereotypes of philosophy, intellectual bullying, mental masturbation. Now, class, this is the last part, the value of philosophy. There is a big difference between being, again, listen to this. There is a big difference between being a lover of wisdom and a mere receiver of knowledge. For philosophers, class, they aim to be wise. Wise in almost all aspects of human discipline. In the aspect of inquiring, investigating all forms of human phenomena, they really seek to answer the questions of the world, not because they are forced to do so, but because they are passionate in their quest for wisdom. This is the reason why philosophy are known to be yung tinatawag nating entities or being of wisdom, for their teaching helped shed light to the many questions of humankind. So their wisdom really stood the test of time and were even immortalized that up to this day. They become the basis of the people's judgments and decisions. And over the years went beyond its etymological definition. It became a discipline and a field of study that desires to understand and comprehend the mysteries of reality, to to unveil the nature of truth, examine the significance of life. And also, class, yung value ng philosophy encompasses the examination of the relationships between a person and his environment, di ba? Ikaw at ang kalikas ng at ikaw at ang kalikasan, di ba? Between the individual person at sa kanyang lipunan, society, and also become the story of people who never cease to wonder. Cease, wala jud ni undang mag-wonder, wala ni undang mag-inquire, wala ni undang mag-investigate about everything and anything under the sun. That's the value of philosophy. So, all right, everyone, as we wrap up our conversation, our lecture today on philosophy, critical thinking, and stereotyping, I want to leave you with a few thoughts to carry forward. You see, class, philosophy isn't just something we study in books, okay, or in your modules, diba? It's a way of looking at the world. It's about asking questions, digging deeper, and not just accepting things as they appear. When we approach life with a philosophical mindset, we're really practicing the art of critical thinking. We're learning to challenge our beliefs, our assumptions. We analyze different opinions, perspectives, and truths, and make decisions based on reason and understanding rather than just going with the flow. Now, let's be real, class. Let's be real. Stereotyping is something that's easy to fall into. It's like a shortcut, a mental shortcut that our brains take. But it's also something that limits us. When we stereotype, we're not seeing people for who they really are. We're just fitting them into a box that might not reflect their true identity. And let's face it, none of us like being put into a box, right? But here's the good news. By applying the principles of philosophy and critical thinking, we can actually break free from those boxes. We can learn to see the world and the people in it with fresh eyes without letting stereotypes cloud our judgment. It's about being more curious, more open-minded, and ultimately more human. So I encourage you all to keep this mindset as you move forward, not just in your studies, but in your everyday lives. Remember, the way we think shapes the way we experience the world. So let's make sure we're thinking critically and yung tinatawag nating compassionately. Okay? Also, class, I've put together some separate videos on critical thinking and stereotyping that dive deeper into these topics. So if you want to explore these ideas further, and trust me, you'll want to, you can check out those videos at their own pace. And they'll give you some extra tools to help sharpen your thinking and challenge any stereotypes you might encounter. Okay? And let's continue to ask questions, challenge ourselves, and approach the world with a critical and philosophical mindset. Okay? So you are required also to watch those videos about critical thinking and stereotyping. Okay, class? So, and after this, your substitute teacher will give supplementary activities so that you will have a meaningful abstraction of these lessons. Okay, so keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in our next session. Thanks everyone and have a good day. Bye.